Walk through your house right now. Open a few cabinets. Look under the sink. Check the bathroom. Look inside your laundry area. And then ask yourself one simple question. What would happen if you couldn't go shopping for the next 2 weeks? Most people immediately think about food. Maybe bottled water. Maybe canned goods. But that's only part of the problem. Because when normal shopping becomes difficult, it's often the ordinary household items that people suddenly realize they forgot. The things you use every single day. The products that don't seem important until they're gone. Trash bags. Cleaning supplies. Light bulbs. Toothpaste. Laundry products. And dozens of other small essentials that quietly keep your household functioning. These aren't exciting purchases. You probably won't see people fighting over them at the grocery store. But during a storm, power outage, supply disruption, transportation problem, or unexpected financial squeeze, having a reasonable backup supply can make everyday life much easier. And here's the important part. Stockpiling doesn't mean buying everything in enormous quantities. It means buying ahead of your normal usage. If you normally use one package every month, having an extra package available may be enough. The goal is to create a buffer, not a warehouse. You also want to avoid wasting money. Don't buy products your household never uses just because they're on sale. Instead, look around your home and identify the things you repeatedly replace. Those are the items worth considering. In today's video, we're counting down 15 normal household items you may want to stock up on immediately. Some are surprisingly obvious. Others are things you probably haven't thought about in months. And number 1 is something that can become incredibly important during a simple power outage. Before we begin, subscribe to Preparedness and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, household preparedness ideas, food storage strategies, and emergency planning advice to help you stay informed and ready. Now let's count down 15 normal household items you should consider stocking up on. Starting with number 15. Number 15. Garbage disposal bags. Starting at number 15 is a small household item that most people never think about until they suddenly need it. Garbage disposal bags. Whether you use small bags for bathroom bins, bedroom wastebaskets, pet-related cleanup, or other household trash, these little bags can disappear much faster than expected. They're inexpensive. They take up very little storage space. And they're useful in dozens of everyday situations. You can keep a roll in the kitchen, another in the bathroom, and a few extra rolls with your cleaning supplies. That way, you're not constantly searching around the house when a bin needs to be emptied. They can also be useful during unusual situations when normal garbage collection is delayed. Keeping waste properly contained helps keep your home cleaner and more organized. When shopping, pay attention to the actual number of bags in the package and the size of each bag. The cheapest package isn't always the best value. If you have pets, children, or a large household, you may go through small garbage bags much faster than you expect. Buy according to your normal usage rather than simply buying the largest package available. Store plastic bags somewhere dry and safely away from young children because plastic bags can create a suffocation hazard. You don't need a huge stockpile. Even a few extra rolls can give your household a useful buffer. Garbage disposal bags earn the number 15 spot because they're cheap, compact, frequently useful, and incredibly easy to forget when making a household shopping list. And that's exactly what makes them worth checking before your next shopping trip. Number 14. Sponges and scrubbers. At number 14 is something that seems almost too ordinary to stockpile. Sponges and scrubbers. But think about how often you use them. Washing dishes, cleaning countertops, scrubbing sinks, removing food residue, and handling everyday kitchen messes. A single sponge can wear out surprisingly quickly, especially in a busy household. And when you finally need a replacement, discovering that you have none can be more annoying than you'd expect. That's why keeping a small backup supply makes sense. Sponges are inexpensive. They take up very little storage space, and they don't require any special conditions to store. You can keep a few under the kitchen sink or with your cleaning supplies. Different jobs may also require different types. A soft sponge can work well for dishes and surfaces that scratch easily. A tougher scrubber may be useful for pots, pans, and harder-to-clean surfaces. Just make sure you're using the appropriate product for the surface you're cleaning. One important point is hygiene. Sponges can hold moisture and food particles, which can contribute to unpleasant odors and microbial growth. That's why you should replace worn-out sponges regularly and follow any care instructions provided by the manufacturer. You can also keep separate cleaning tools for different areas of the home. There's no need to buy a huge quantity. A small package of backups can be enough to prevent you from running out unexpectedly. Sponges and scrubbers earn the number 14 spot because they're cheap, compact, frequently used, and easy to forget until the one you're using is completely worn out. And the next household item is something that can become surprisingly frustrating to replace when you suddenly discover you're out. Number 13. Light bulbs. At number 13 is something most people don't think about until one suddenly burns out. Light bulbs. It always seems to happen at the worst possible time. A hallway light stops working. The bathroom goes dark. Or the bulb you need happens to be a size you don't have anywhere else in the house. That's why keeping a few replacement bulbs on hand can save you an unnecessary shopping trip. The important thing is to buy the right ones. Before purchasing extras, check the bulbs already installed in your home. Look at the base type, wattage or equivalent rating, voltage, and whether you need a particular shape or brightness. LED bulbs are widely used because they're generally energy efficient and can last a long time, but the correct bulb still depends on the fixture. Don't simply buy a giant multipack without checking compatibility. You may end up with several bulbs that don't fit any of your fixtures. A better approach is to identify the bulb types your household uses most frequently. Keep a small number of replacements in a dry, safe location where they won't get crushed. It can also be useful to keep 1 or 2 spare bulbs near the emergency supplies, especially if you rely on important lighting areas. And remember, a light bulb isn't an emergency flashlight. During a power outage, you still need battery-powered or rechargeable lighting that doesn't depend on the home's electrical system. But when the power is restored and a bulb has burned out, having a replacement ready can be extremely convenient. Light bulbs earn the number 13 spot because they're relatively inexpensive, easy to store, and can prevent a very simple problem from becoming an unnecessary inconvenience. And the next item is something almost every household uses regularly, yet many people wait until the very last minute to replace it. Number 12. Toothpaste. At number 12 is one of the most basic personal care products in your home. Toothpaste. It's easy to overlook because you probably use it every day without thinking about it. But that also means you can run through a tube faster than expected. And when the tube is empty, there isn't really a convenient substitute for your normal dental care routine. That's why keeping an extra tube or two can be a simple way to create a small household buffer. You don't need to buy a huge stockpile. Just check how quickly your household uses toothpaste and keep enough extra to cover a reasonable period. If several people live in your home, you may go through it much faster than you realize. It's also worth buying the type your household already uses. Fluoride toothpaste is commonly recommended for preventing cavities, but individual dental needs can vary. If someone in your household uses a specific toothpaste recommended by a dentist, keep that product available rather than switching simply because another option is cheaper. When shopping, compare the price per ounce rather than looking only at the tube price. A larger package may provide better value, but only if your household will use it before the product becomes old or unwanted. Store unopened toothpaste in a cool, dry location and follow the manufacturer's storage guidance. And remember to check expiration dates periodically. Toothpaste earns the number 12 spot because it's inexpensive, used every day, easy to store, and incredibly annoying to run out of unexpectedly. And the next household item is something that can become especially valuable when you're trying to keep your home clean while using less water. Number 11. Paper towels. At number 11 is something that disappears from your home faster than you probably realize. Paper towels. One spill, one messy meal, a quick kitchen cleanup, and suddenly another section of the roll is gone. That's why paper towels can be worth keeping as part of a reasonable household backup. They're useful for much more than wiping countertops. You can use them to clean up spills, dry washed produce, handle messy kitchen tasks, clean certain surfaces, or deal with situations where you don't want to reuse a cloth immediately. During a water disruption or other household emergency, disposable paper products can also provide an additional cleaning option. But that doesn't mean you need to fill an entire closet with them. Paper towels take up a lot of space compared with many other household supplies. The smarter approach is to maintain a modest reserve. If your household normally goes through one large package every few weeks, keeping another package or two available may be enough. When shopping, compare the price per sheet rather than simply comparing the number of rolls. Marketing can make a package look larger or cheaper than it actually is. Store paper towels somewhere dry. Moisture can damage them and make them useless before you ever need them. You can also combine disposable products with reusable cleaning cloths to reduce overall consumption. Paper towels earn the number 11 spot because they're inexpensive, useful in dozens of situations, and one of those everyday items that can disappear surprisingly quickly. And the next household item is something that can become extremely useful when you need to clean clothes, dishes, or surfaces but don't want to waste your limited supply of other products. Number 10. Dishwashing liquid. At number 10 is something your kitchen depends on every single day. Dishwashing liquid. Think about how quickly dishes pile up when you can't wash them. Plates, cups, cooking utensils, pots, and pans. Without dish soap, keeping the kitchen clean becomes much more difficult. That's why having a backup bottle can be a simple but useful preparedness step. You don't need a huge supply. One unopened bottle beyond your normal usage may be enough to give you a buffer. If you have a large family or cook frequently, you may go through dishwashing liquid much faster. In that case, keeping a couple of backups could make more sense. When shopping, don't judge value by bottle size alone. Look at how many washes or how concentrated the product is, when that information is available. Sometimes a smaller concentrated bottle can last longer than a much larger container. Store dishwashing liquid somewhere secure where it won't accidentally leak onto other supplies. If you have children or pets, keep it safely out of their reach. You can also consider refill packages if they offer better value for your household and fit your storage setup. During an emergency, dish soap can have another advantage. It can help you maintain basic kitchen hygiene without relying on disposable dishes for every meal. That can save money and reduce waste. Dishwashing liquid earns the number 10 spot because it's inexpensive, used constantly, and essential for maintaining a clean kitchen. And the next item is something you may not notice you're running out of until you suddenly need to do a load of laundry. Number 9. Sponges for cleaning. At number 9 is another small household item that can disappear surprisingly quickly. Cleaning sponges. You might think one package will last forever. Then you use them for dishes, counters, sinks, and other household messes. And suddenly they're worn out. That's why keeping a few replacements available can be useful. Cleaning sponges are inexpensive and take up very little space. You can keep them with your normal cleaning supplies and rotate them as needed. Different surfaces may require different tools. A soft sponge may be suitable for delicate surfaces. A tougher scrubber can help with stuck-on food or difficult messes. Always check the manufacturer's recommendations and avoid abrasive products on surfaces that can scratch. Another reason to keep extras is hygiene. A sponge that has been used repeatedly can become unpleasant and less effective. Instead of trying to squeeze another month out of an old sponge, having replacements means you can switch to a clean one when appropriate. You don't need to buy a giant case. A few extra packs are more than enough for most households. And because they're small, they don't compete for much storage space. When shopping, don't automatically choose the most expensive option. Basic sponges can handle many everyday jobs. Premium versions may be useful for specific cleaning tasks, but the best value depends on how you actually use them. Cleaning sponges earn the number 9 spot because they're cheap, compact, frequently used, and easy to overlook until the last one is worn out. And now we're moving into the top 8. The next item is something that can help keep your household running when ordinary cleaning routines suddenly become much more difficult. Number 8. All-purpose cleaner. We're now at number 8. And this is one of those products that can handle far more jobs than people realize. All-purpose cleaner. Instead of buying a separate bottle for every room and every surface, a suitable all-purpose cleaner can often handle many everyday cleaning tasks. Kitchen counters, tables, certain bathroom surfaces, cabinets, and other washable household surfaces can often be cleaned with the appropriate product. That flexibility can save both money and storage space. Rather than having a cabinet filled with 10 different specialized cleaners, you can keep 1 or 2 versatile products that you actually use. But there's an important rule. Always check the label. Not every cleaner is safe for every surface. Some materials can be damaged by certain chemicals. And you should never mix cleaning products unless the manufacturer specifically says they're safe to combine. In particular, never mix bleach with ammonia or acidic cleaners because dangerous gases can form. During an emergency, having a general cleaning product available can also help you maintain basic household hygiene when trips to the store are difficult. You don't need to stockpile dozens of bottles. A backup container or 2 may be enough. If you find a good sale on a product your household already uses, buying an extra bottle can make sense. Refill concentrates can sometimes provide better value and take up less storage space, but only use them exactly as directed. Store cleaning chemicals securely and away from children, pets, food, and medications. All-purpose cleaner earns the number 8 spot because it's versatile, relatively inexpensive, and can replace several specialized products when used appropriately. And now we're getting closer to the top of the list. The next item is something that can become incredibly important when your household needs to keep functioning without its usual supply of disposable products. Number 7. Aluminum foil. We're now at number 7. And this is one of those kitchen items that seems ordinary, until the roll is suddenly empty. Aluminum foil. It can be used for cooking, baking, food storage, covering leftovers, wrapping certain foods, and countless small kitchen tasks. That versatility is what makes it worth keeping an extra roll or 2. You don't need a giant stockpile. A couple of backup rolls can provide a useful buffer without taking up too much space. Aluminum foil can also help you store certain foods more conveniently. Instead of throwing away leftovers because you don't have an easy way to cover them, you can use appropriate food storage methods to keep them protected. It's also useful when you're preparing meals that require wrapping or covering. If you regularly cook at home, you'll probably find more uses for foil than you realize. When shopping, compare the length of the roll rather than simply looking at the package size. A large box isn't automatically the best deal. Check the actual amount of foil you're getting. You may also want to consider the thickness based on how you use it. Heavy-duty foil can be useful for certain cooking tasks, while standard foil may be perfectly adequate for everyday food covering. Keep unused rolls in a dry location where they won't get crushed or damaged. Aluminum foil earns the number 7 spot because it's inexpensive, compact, versatile, and useful for cooking and food storage. And now we're entering the top 6. The next item is something that can quietly become one of the most valuable household supplies when the power goes out. Number 6. Candles. We're now in the top 6. At number 6 is something people often think of as decoration. But during a power outage, candles can become a useful backup lighting option. Candles are simple. They don't require batteries. They don't need electricity. And they can be stored for a long time when kept in an appropriate location. That's why keeping a small emergency supply can make sense. However, candles should never be your only emergency lighting source. Flashlights and other battery-powered or rechargeable lights are generally safer and more practical for moving around the house. Candles are best treated as a backup option. If you do keep them, store them in a cool, dry location away from direct heat. And always keep them away from curtains, paper, bedding, furniture, children, and pets. Never leave a burning candle unattended. Never sleep with a candle burning. And use a stable, heat-resistant holder designed for the candle. One advantage of candles is that they take up relatively little space. A small package can provide multiple hours of light, depending on the type and size. You can also keep matches or a suitable lighter nearby, stored safely and separately from children. Before buying more candles, check what you already have around the house. You may already have decorative candles that can serve as backup lighting if they're appropriate and safely used. Candles earn the number 6 spot because they're inexpensive, compact, don't depend on electricity, and can provide a backup source of light during an outage. But remember, safety comes first. And now we're entering the top 5. The next household item is something that can become extremely important when you need to protect your home from dirt, moisture, or unexpected messes. Number 5. Plastic storage bags. We're now in the top 5. At number 5 is one of the most versatile little household items you can keep around. Plastic storage bags. Small resealable bags can be useful for far more than storing sandwiches. You can organize small household items, separate portions of food, protect documents or small objects from moisture, pack toiletries, store craft supplies, or organize items inside an emergency kit. Their small size makes them particularly useful for keeping messy drawers and cabinets under control. Instead of buying a specialized container every time you need to separate something, a simple resealable bag can often do the job. Different sizes are useful for different purposes. Small bags work well for tiny items. Medium sizes can handle snacks and portions. Larger bags can be useful for organizing emergency supplies or storing larger objects. However, don't use ordinary storage bags for purposes they're not designed for. Follow the manufacturer's instructions, especially when using them with food. And never use them as a toy or allow young children to play with them because plastic bags can pose a suffocation hazard. When shopping, compare the number of bags and the size of each bag rather than simply looking at the package price. Store them somewhere dry and easily accessible. You don't need hundreds of boxes. A couple of assorted packs can provide plenty of flexibility for most households. Plastic storage bags earn the number 5 spot because they're inexpensive, take up little space, and have dozens of everyday uses beyond basic food storage. And now we're down to the final 4. The next item is something you may not think about until you suddenly need to clean up a mess that can't wait. Number 4. Disinfectant spray. We're down to the final 4. At number 4 is something that can become especially useful when your household needs to maintain good cleaning and hygiene practices. Disinfectant spray. Unlike a general-purpose cleaner, a disinfectant is designed for specific germ reduction claims when used exactly according to its label. That distinction matters. If you're using a product to disinfect a surface, you need to follow the manufacturer's instructions. This may include cleaning visible dirt first and keeping the surface wet for a specified amount of time. Simply spraying a product and immediately wiping it away may not achieve the result you expect. That's why having an appropriate disinfectant available can be useful. It can help you handle frequently touched surfaces and certain household cleaning tasks when needed. But you don't need to buy a dozen different products. One reliable product that works for the surfaces in your home may be enough. Check the label before using it on countertops, electronics, fabrics, wood, or other materials. Some disinfectants can damage certain surfaces. And never mix disinfectants with other cleaning chemicals unless the label specifically says it's safe. Keep these products away from children and pets. Store them according to the manufacturer's instructions and make sure the container is securely closed. It's also worth checking the expiration or recommended use period. Over time, some cleaning products can lose effectiveness. Disinfectant spray earns the number 4 spot because it can provide an important cleaning option while taking up relatively little storage space. And now we're down to the final 3. The next household item is something that can become surprisingly valuable when your normal shopping routine is interrupted. Number 3. Batteries. We're down to the final 3. At number 3 is one of the most important small household supplies you can keep in reserve. Batteries. Think about how many things in your home depend on them. Remote controls, clocks, flashlights, radios, smoke alarms, small electronic devices, and emergency equipment. Now imagine a power outage lasting longer than expected. Your phone is running low. Your flashlight needs fresh batteries. And suddenly you realize the only batteries in the house are the ones already sitting inside old devices. That's why keeping compatible backup batteries is a smart preparedness habit. Start by checking which sizes your household actually uses. AA and AAA are common, but don't assume those are the only ones you need. Check your flashlights, radios, alarms, and other important devices. Then keep a modest supply of the sizes you actually use. You don't need to buy hundreds. A few backup packs can make a significant difference. Store batteries according to the manufacturer's recommendations, generally in a cool, dry location. Keep them away from metal objects that could cause accidental contact. And avoid mixing old and new batteries in the same device. If you prefer rechargeable batteries, keep the charger functional and make sure you have a reliable way to recharge them during an outage. It's also worth testing your emergency equipment periodically. There's no point having a drawer full of batteries if the flashlight itself doesn't work. Batteries earn the number 3 spot because they're compact, relatively inexpensive, and can keep critical household and emergency devices operating when you need them most. And now we're down to the final 2. The next item is something almost every household needs, but people often underestimate how quickly they can go through it. Number 2. Trash bags. We're down to the final 2. At number 2 is one of the most basic household products you can possibly own. Trash bags. They may not sound like an important preparedness item, but imagine your normal garbage collection being interrupted for several days. Suddenly, having extra bags becomes much more useful. Trash bags help keep household waste contained. They can also be useful during cleaning projects, moving, organizing, and unexpected messes. That's why I recommend keeping a reasonable backup supply. You don't need a mountain of them. Start with the sizes your household actually uses. Kitchen bags, small bathroom bags, and heavy-duty bags if you regularly need them. When shopping, don't compare packages based only on the number of rolls. Look at the actual number of bags and the size of each bag. A package with fewer bags isn't necessarily cheaper if each bag is significantly larger or stronger. Heavy-duty bags can also be useful for emergency cleanup because they're less likely to tear when handling heavier household waste. Store your bags somewhere dry. A damp storage area can damage the packaging and make them harder to use. And keep them away from children because plastic bags can pose a serious suffocation hazard. The best strategy is simple. Every time you use your last backup box, put another one on your shopping list. That way, your household always maintains a small buffer without spending a huge amount of money at once. Trash bags earn the number 2 spot because they're inexpensive, compact, frequently used, and surprisingly useful when normal household routines are disrupted. And now we've reached number 1. The final item is something you probably use every day, but you may not realize how important it becomes when stores are closed or supply chains are disrupted. Number 1. Toilet paper. We've reached number 1. And this is one household item you absolutely don't want to discover you're out of when you can't make it to the store. Toilet paper. It's simple. It's ordinary. And almost every household uses it every day. But that's exactly why it belongs at the top of this list. You don't need to think about toilet paper when everything is normal. You simply buy another package when the old one gets low. But if a storm closes roads, a supply disruption affects local stores, or a sudden wave of shoppers clears the shelves, you may not be able to replace it immediately. That's why keeping a reasonable reserve can make sense. The key word is reasonable. You don't need enough to fill an entire room. You simply want enough to cover your household's normal use for a little longer than usual. Before buying more, figure out how quickly your household actually uses it. A family of 5 will obviously go through toilet paper much faster than one person living alone. That simple calculation can help you avoid both underbuying and unnecessary overbuying. When comparing packages, don't look only at the number of rolls. Check the total sheet count and the price per unit. Marketing can make one package look like a better deal than another when the actual amount of product is different. Storage matters too. Toilet paper should be kept somewhere clean and dry. Moisture can quickly ruin your supply. And because it takes up a lot of space, choose your storage location carefully. A closet, dry shelf, or dedicated storage area can work well. Rotate your supply whenever possible. Use older packages first and replace them during normal shopping trips. That way, you're not creating a giant pile of unused products. Toilet paper earns the number 1 spot because it's a basic household necessity that's used constantly and difficult to replace with a convenient alternative.